Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you guys on here. Tuesday tea time. We're going to have a great time today hanging out with one of my good friends. Just before we get started, I do want to let you know that I'm going to be migrating tea time over to our One House page. So if you've been enjoying our content and the conversations we've been having with random human beings, young professionals, creative people, do me a favor and pop over to our One House page in Facebook and like it. And if you like it, you'll be able to get the notifications as we go forward. I'm going to be doing a couple more here for the next few weeks, but then after that, we're going to go ahead and start rocking them just mainly exclusively over at our One House page. Secondly, I also wanted to let you know that starting tomorrow, Wednesdays midweek, we're going to be having different people on our Instagram live page. So if you are not a friend of ours on Instagram, go ahead and pop on there and please follow us at ONEHousesocal. Midweek, Wednesday, every week, we're going to be having someone pop on there and give you a spiritual punch. 3 minutes. It's convenient. It's going to be like good for the soul. So jump on there and you'll have a good time with it. It'll be good. Okay, those are just basically the two things I kind of wanted to share with you all. Welcome on if you're watching. I always love doing this. This is a great way to connect with people, and especially in this kind of like environment and this time where it's a little bit unprecedented and we're really isolated. I love sharing human stories and people who are just doing like creatively good, positive things in the world. And so every week I'm trying to find somebody who we could talk with, interview, and just have them share their journey with us. I'm really thankful that you're sharing your journey with us. Feel free to comment down in the comment section, and as you do, we'll chop it up and talk some more. Today, I've got good friend Jarrett Kiemeney, the executive producer for the KNBC Sports. If you've ever watched Rogan's Heroes, anything that's Olympic related on NBC, you've probably seen his work. You may not have seen his face, but you've definitely seen his work. He's an 8-time Emmy nominee and the recipient of the prestigious Edward R Murrow Award. So we're going to bring him on right now. We're going to hold some good convo, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Jay, you there?
What's up, brother? Thanks for having me, man.
Hold on, Jared. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
You got me now?
I got you now, bro. What's going on?
What's up, brother? Thanks for having me on, man. Good to talk to you.
Dude, thanks for coming on. So, as it is, it's Tuesday tea. Tell us what you are drinking.
I've got myself a peanut butter banana smoothie. Little protein. Make sure I'm getting all the good stuff that I need right now.
Yeah, listen, being a full-time dad and a full-time worker, you need to get all your nutrients in, bro.
Yeah, you got to make up for that sleep that you're not getting somehow.
Yes, indeed. Parents, if you're out there, you get it. You know what's up. You know how tough it is to both run full-on stuff as well as being a full-time parent. It can be a lot. Okay, so Jay, let's talk a little bit, man. First off, I want to ask: are you wearing any pants?
I feel like that doesn't necessarily need to be disclosed in an environment like this. I mean, we're home. It's work from home.
Right,
yes,
right.
Man. Yeah, I put pants on for this one.
Oh, okay. I'm glad because I'm not wearing pants and I'm here in the comfort.
Okay.
Kind of a little awkward and weird, but no, we're good. If you're just checking in with us now, my friends, we have comments and questions, but they're not quite coming up. So even though I won't be posting them on the screen, I will be keeping an eye out for it, and I'll read your questions out as you go. So if you have any, where's the schedule at? I'm not sure where the schedule is right now, but we'll be making one for you soon. Okay, Jay.
Yes.
So you're wearing pants, and tell me, what does an executive producer for KNBC Sports do? It's a pretty cool title. I like the name, but most of us probably aren't very aware of what you actually do. Can you share a little bit?
Yeah, I think as producers, we try to remain mysterious in terms of nobody really knows what we do, and then I describe it and people still don't really quite understand, but I'll give it a shot.
Right.
I'm essentially in charge of helping create and develop content for KNBC Sports. So whether it's creating new shows and seeing those through, developing, the entire from pitch to concept to on air. So it's the on air look, the graphics. So those are in terms of shows that I'm doing, and then it's actual story content. What do we actually want to cover today or this week or tonight, depending on the show? Essentially, what are the most important things we need to put in there? How are we going to get those things written, which typically is entirely me.
Really? Really?
Yeah. So executive is, like you said, a nice title. But in certain circumstances, like, like the one that I'm in, that means you're doing almost everything.
Yeah.
So you may come up with a concept for the show, develop the content, what's going to be in there. I'm writing it. I'm editing a lot of the video, booking guests to come on the show. Going out and doing interviews that we need to get done ahead of time. Going and sitting with an editor and putting those together. So it's really, it kind of encapsulates, you might see, let's just say it's a 2-minute story on TV. We probably put 20 hours into making that 2 minutes happen.
And nobody ever knows, right? If you're doing your job right, nobody notices.
Yeah. And hopefully they don't, hopefully nobody's noticing for those reasons. Hopefully they just say, oh, that was nice. And
right.
We move on. And then I put another 20 hours into the next 2 minutes. But it's, it's fun, rewarding. It's sports, which is something I always have loved. So there's a lot of days where it really does not feel like a job at all. And,
let me ask you,
I get to go to work and watch sports or stay home, so it's good.
Let me ask you, what is like one of the most proudest moments you've had while you've done this job? You've been at this for what, almost 10 years?
19.
Dang!
18 years.
So you started when you were like 7 years old, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I did start. I was working there at KNBC while I was in college.
Wow.
So everyone could do the math there. 36, 37, somewhere in there. But tell me the question again.
Oh yeah. So that gives you so that's an awful lot of time to curate a lot of programs, shows, all kinds of projects and events. Can you probably pick one that you feel like, yo, this was the one, man? Like, I'm so proud of this piece that I did.
Yeah.
Is there one that sticks out for you that's just a little bit above the others?
I mean, there have been several, but I think 2008 was the first time I went to the Olympics, and I was essentially handed that project, which is the biggest thing we do. Try to track down 120 athletes that are from Southern California going to the Olympics, put together stories on them, and then go over to Beijing in that at that time, and chase them all down there and follow what they're doing. Put together a half-hour special that, and I had some help before I had started it, but I had 5 or 6 months to get it together. So I'd say that was kind of the launching pad for where I really started. And I've done a lot of cool things since then, but I think I still look back to that one as my first environment at the Olympics in China. Yeah.
China, dang.
Yeah, it's a whole different world, and everything went well. It was good. So I'd point back to that still.
Wow. That is really cool, bro. Along that same line, who have you met that you just felt like, yeah, this is really cool? Who's been like some of your favorite athletes? Because you've met a wide range of them. Most of us just see them on TV, but you've actually been fairly up and close to a lot of them. Who's been like some that have stuck out in your mind? You're like, this was cool. This was good.
I mean, it's still Kobe and Shaq. That was kind of, for
my
us,
man. That's why we boys right there. Everybody, listen.
That.
This is a professional speaking right now, okay? He's an executive producer. If he says the coolest was Kobe and Shaq, that should be everybody's. Hands down. Don't argue about it. That's what it is.
Yeah, that was the wheelhouse for us, man. I mean, it was, every day covering them was Shaq. You never knew what he was going to say. And Kobe just had a completely different aura about him. So I would still say those two. There have obviously been lots. I don't want to just run off a bunch of names, but those were probably the two that stick out. I know you want me to run off names.
I like it. I want you to run off names. sometimes. No, it's cool. It's cool, man. We get it. But go ahead and tell us one more person. Go ahead.
I mean, Tiger Woods, but
Wow.
and those are, those are the kind of things that you don't have the opportunity to be starstruck or to even,
Right.
that's my job. So I'm there talking to these people because we need information that we want to find out and share with our viewers. And so, maybe the first time I walked into Laker practice and there's Kobe Bryant, it was crazy for a 17-year-old to see that.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
But pretty quick, it's okay. These are the people that I get to be around, and that's great, and do my job.
Now, I feel like if I were around Shaquille O'Neal, because of the size of his mass, his gravitas, I would just be pulled in to hug him and just slide up underneath that big arm of his. Did you ever get that? Did you ever feel that way?
No, I think I would have. I think you would have hit me like Charles Barkley if I tried to get in there.
Right.
Maybe you'd have better luck. It wasn't going to go away from me.
I grabbed some photos off of your Facebook. Hope you don't mind. Maybe you can tell us who these individuals are, and a little bit about them. I noticed they're wearing their actual medals. I don't know if you can see this first one here. Check your Facebook, maybe. Sorry about that. It's should be coming up. Do you remember this guy? I don't remember his name, but he's got a nice smile. He's got a low cut. He's wearing a red thing. He's obviously an Olympian of some sort.
Oh, that's Brian Clay. He was a decathlete.
Brian.
He actually lives not far from me, and I've spoken to him since. He's a good dude.
Is that a gold?
He did win gold that year. Yeah.
Wow.
And unfortunately, if you're pulling photos off of Facebook, a lot of these are older. I don't update the photos there too much, but yeah.
But I like your hairstyle. Here's one with a young lady. She's wearing a jumper. She's got a Nike jacket on. She's wearing a medal as well. I don't know any of these people, so I'm sorry. I know you can't see it.
Yeah, no, I'm here with you. I'm
Okay.
just confused. That's Kim Rhodey. She was a shooting gold medalist, and she's been to, I think, 5 different Olympics.
Shooting. Is that the thing where they're like this the whole time?
No. That's curling.
Curling.
So shooting, literally rifle.
Snap.
Targets.
Snap.
Yeah, and trap targets flying through the air and shooting skeet and stuff like that.
Somebody we're not going to mess around with. Hey, if you're just jumping on, welcome on, everybody. This is Tuesday Tea Time with our guy, Jarrett Kiemeney, executive producer of a KNBC, doing phenomenal things. We're just kind of looking over some of the photos I stole from him. I can't this week see your comments, so we're just going to keep cruising through, but please feel free to leave comments and engage with us. It's really nice, and then later on, we'll go ahead and shoot them over to Jarrett. And, if Jarrett, if you see him at any time, feel free to just interject and go ahead and talk with us. Okay, here's another cat. This guy, he's wearing a hat backwards. He's got I think he's got a silver on is what he's got. He's wearing a... This is like Pictionary, except you don't have any.
Yeah, you're trying to...
You'll see him coming up soon. He looks kind of buff, though. He looks like a surfer, almost.
Yeah, that guy was in BMX, Mike Day.
Yeah.
And I think that was BMX's debut. So that was pretty cool, too.
Yeah, I could see that.
One story that I'll throw in there from, and I don't know if this picture is going to end up coming up, but Allyson Felix, who track runner, I think the most decorated female track Olympian ever.
Wow, really?
I ended up, walking back from some event one night, and China just swarms of people. And we had done stuff with her beforehand, and I see her walking down the street in the midst of thousands of other people, and extremely recognizable, still wearing like her USA sweatsuit. And she's coming up to me and says, "Allyson, we can give you a ride to wherever you're going. We got a van right here. You don't need to be walking around after just winning. She had just won a medal." And actually, that's her right there.
Is that her?
Yeah, and so
just walking around like a normal commoner. Everybody wins gold all the time like this, guys. Everybody.
Yeah, I don't think she had her medal around her neck, but she hopped in and we gave her a ride to wherever she was going. But that's the things that happen at the Olympics, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. Here's one. I don't know if you'll be able to recognize it. This one here. You'll see it coming up soon. And I'm gonna lead in with, when did you know this was something you wanted to do? Like, when did you like decide, like, dang, this is, and was it intentional or was it per chance? Like, you ended up in a spot and it happened to open up for you and you went ahead.
Yeah, good question. And I'm checking the comments too. Mike, yeah, that was 2008, the Olympics. It was, I had always, since I was a kid, I was the kid that was out playing basketball, but doing play-by-play of what me and my brother were doing in the driveway at the same time. Um, I don't even recognize that. It's obviously me, though.
It is you. This is you last
Uh,
year. I stole it out of your photo album.
nice. Um, so, I kind of, sports and talking about sports, and then writing became everything I love to do. And so I actually wanted to, growing up watching SportsCenter and ESPN, I wanted to be the guy on camera, delivering the highlights. I actually wanted to do play-by-play. I wanted to be Chick Hearn,
Yeah, Chick, my man.
doing the Laker play-by-play. And there came a point in college where the reality of that possibility set in. And knowing that I was going to end up having to work on Sabbath if I was going to pursue that. And then that really hit once I had started doing internships. And I, at that point decided, okay, I need to take a little detour because the Sabbath was and is very important to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the day that I want to be working. I want to keep that day holy and spend it with God and be at church. So, little course correction, but I saw a lane where I could still get in production, and still do a lot of what I love. Maybe even more so. Maybe that's where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
Yo, that's big. I want to pause there for a minute and just soak in that moment. That's let's just emphasize that, because I feel like people who are trying to get someplace are always quick to compromise some of their deepest principles, some of their deepest virtues. And I'm not talking about legalism. I'm not talking about you like doing something and all of a sudden God's going to forget your name. But I'm talking about the spiritual discipline of saying, you know what, like, this is something for me that's going to be important, and I feel like it gives me a intimate connection with God and with the universe, and so I'm going to be wholly true to that thing. Is important. So if you're out there and you're like thinking about how you're going to hustle and get to that place, I want you to know that that struggle is real, but make sure that you have in line the most important priorities, right? Like those things that are for you are spiritual virtues that is going to be important. I think that Jarrett would agree with me. Jarrett, I'm pretty sure you'd agree with me that this isn't even about legalism or about if I do this, God's going to hate me, or this thing. But it's really about spiritual disciplines where you're like, this is important to me, so I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to honor God by doing that in that activity.
Yeah, and I don't. So many people I think maybe put those things aside. It was never even a question for me. That the first day they actually asked me to produce was on a Friday night, and out of the excitement to be able to do it, I immediately said yes.
Yeah.
And obviously it weighed on me that night. And the next day I went back in and said, hey, I can't. I know how few opportunities come in this field.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it. I can't do it on Friday night, and here's why. And God has blessed me. They understood and have always been understanding. There was never a question or pressure. So I'm really fortunate and blessed in that regard, and it's helped, I think, keep me grounded, and just to have a Sabbath. So many people are 24/7 all the time. Obviously not right now.
Yeah.
But just to have that kind of respite in the week is so vital to recharge. And so God created it for a reason, and I'm glad that we can hold on to it.
Nice, man. Well, good on you, bro. That's awesome. I love that this story would ring true for many people on many different levels, about figuring out where your spiritual center is and making sure that you're true to that. because it really helps you become better. And really, I mean, if you're a believer, if you believe in God, then you believe that God's got this stuff kind of figured out. Like He's going to move you through this stuff and get you where you need to go. Example A, Your Honor, Jarrett, who's doing awesome things. So thanks, Jarrett. Thanks for being that for us. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Kobe. Whew, man, this 2020 came in like a wrecking ball, bro. It came for all of us, and it started off pretty early. But Kobe's passing was quite tremendous for us Angelinos. Maybe if you're watching from around the world, you felt the shockwaves and you were kind of heartbroken. But as an Angelino, it's a painful part of our process. I didn't know the man. He didn't owe me any money. I didn't hang out with his kids. I just who he was to the infrastructure of LA. When he passed, it was pretty striking for us. So how did you guys have to handle that over at NBC? And what was your role and responsibility in the whole funeral memorial situation and all that stuff?
Yeah, this year has been ridiculous. And that was 3 months ago. And it feels, like an eternity. It hit everyone hard. Obviously, didn't believe it when we first got that news. When it ended up coming to the memorial, myself and one other producer we co-produced all our live coverage that day. So we had probably a dozen reporters down at Staples Center. So I was in the kind of in the control room. Making sure, where are we going to go next? What do we need to talk about? All the planning, which happened, over the weeks leading up to that day. So, we did an hour or so of coverage beforehand. Then, I'm sitting there in the production chair, obviously during the whole memorial for us, for what we're doing on Channel 4. And to speak to your point and not knowing the man, but being an Angelino, there was, I had probably had, my brother asked me that day, I had probably had, I don't know, a few dozen interactions with him, and some in some more so intimate environments where we're doing one-on-one interviews with him. It's just us, and we went out to Las Vegas for an Olympic training camp. Yeah. Did something with him in China. So you got to see a little bit more, a little different side of him. And it obviously shook a lot of people. There was a moment in the memorial where, I for weeks had a hard time owning up to the fact that this had happened. In the memorial, it's like, okay, obviously this is real. I had to sit back for a second, and I grew up watching Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, so yeah, I did literally roll back the chair for a minute, and I started shedding tears there in the control room. I didn't care who really saw that.
You're an Angelino, bro.
Yeah, he was someone that was important to a lot of us that grew up in that era. Yep. You and I mean, how many, if you added it up, how many months or, years might we have spent, watching him and what he did and caring about what he did. And so he was
majority of our life, man. We were living every moment with him, Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that was obviously a very difficult day to have to do that. But we obviously his wife incredibly strong to go up there and do that. And,
yeah, absolutely.
He did a lot of great things. Yeah. He did a lot of things.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of great things, and that lives on too. So.
Yep. Speaking of Lakers people, you had a piece that you did where you interviewed Dwight Howard. You remember that piece that you did with Dwight? And you threw some questions at him. This was Dwight round 1, not Dwight round 2.
Yeah.
Tell us how that went, bro. And by the way, if you're watching and you want to, you can actually look it up. It's still out there. But tell us about it, man. Is this
there's not a lot of things
for?
What's that?
Is this what you got an Emmy for?
No. No, it wasn't for. It wasn't for the Dwight Howard confrontation. And there's, if you Google me, you're not going to find a ton of stuff because I'm the behind the scenes dude that doesn't really put his name on everything that goes out. Right. But yeah, this was an instance where I was just, I was at practice and Dwight had been consistently terrible at the free throw line for weeks. And, it was obviously affecting him.
Yeah.
And I just started asking him about it. And, about what's going through his mind when he's at the line. And he said, oh, no, it's just part of the game. I don't want to talk about that. I said, well, if it's part of the game, then it's okay for us to talk about that.
Right.
And he said, well, there are lots of other parts of the game. I said, yes, this is true, but this is a part of the game that seems to be bothering you right now. And why is that? And he's like, he looks around, who is this dude?
Right.
I'd been there, but I never really, I guess, kind of started questioning him about that.
Yeah.
And, he's good-natured. He eventually had a good time about it. But, it's, those are instances where there's everybody around you. Everybody wants to ask the question.
But nobody's.
But will anybody actually do it?
Right.
And, it's what everyone was talking about. So I had to ask him the question. And I'd love to say that it improved after that, but
we all saw it. We all saw what happened. Yeah. That's what we call guts, bro. You straight ask some tough questions. And you know what? For the record, Dwight, welcome back, man. We love you here. Round 2 has been excellent for us, as it's been for you. So just know that if you ever catch a glimpse of this, Dwight Howard, DM me, bro. Hit me up. We want to talk to you about stuff. Life, God, faith, all that good stuff. All right, moving on. So, Jay, we're going to play a quick game. And, our time is flying today. We're going to play a quick game. So I'm going to invite you to put a mask on. I told you before we got started that we're going to bring somebody on who you might know. So I'm gonna call them up. I want you to put your mask on. And then by the sound of their voice and the little hints they're going to drop, you have to tell us who it is. So we're going to call up a friend. I'm going to ring the friend up now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to bring on somebody here who is a friend of Jarrett Kiemeney's. It could have been a childhood friend from preschool, from high school, from college. It could be from anywhere. So if you are coming on now, good sir, we want to invite you, good ma'am, good person. Dang it. We want to invite you to stay kind of quiet for a second. Then, ready to go. We'll invite you to use a secret voice. On somebody here. Okay, we're bringing you on. Of Jarrett Kiemeney's. It could have been a childhood friend from preschool, from high school, from college. What's up, man? It could be anywhere. Stay quiet. Stay quiet. You are coming on now, good sir. We want to invite you, good ma'am, good as well. Person. Dang it. We want to invite you to stay kind of quiet for a second. Then, ready to go. Hold on, my friends. I'm still learning how to work this thing. A secret voice. Somebody here. Oh no. Stay on, Jarrett. Jarrett Kiemeney's. It could have been a childhood friend from preschool, from high school, from college. Because I think I hung up on my guy. But if you're watching, you can say hi to this guy. He's he's a good guy too. We want to invite you to stay kind of quiet for a second. Hello. Jay, are you on? Oh, I like that mask. Very good. Okay. All right. The other person, are you on? The other person, are you on? Let's see. Guys, I'm going to get better at this. I promise you. I'm really going to get better at this. Let me see. How do we add this guy, this conversation? He or she is on here. How do we toggle back and forth? Maybe that's it? I did it last week. I was a better man last week, Jarrett.
It's okay. You're just adding to the suspense.
Yeah. You're gonna like this human being. It's a good human being.
This is what we call a tease in television.
Is this what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I call a faux pas. Let's do it.
Euphemisms. I'd go optimistic.
All right. Let me see. I know I can get this person on here. We've done this before. We just did it last week. Let me see if I can do it this week.
It's okay. You're just adding to the suspense.
Yeah. You're gonna like this human being. It's a good human being. Here we go.
This
Let's
is
see if
this
this
is what we
does
call
it.
a tease.
Is this
Let's
what
do
it's
it.
called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Let's do it. This is what I call an OPO. Let's do it.
Are we all on here together?
Hello?
Go after
Oh my
this.
goodness, I'm so fired.
All right, let me see.
No.
I know I can get this person on here. We've done this before. We just did it last week. Let's see if I can do it this
My
week.
friend.
Hi. It's okay, you're just adding to this.
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec.
You're gonna like this.
I'm
human
gonna try it
being.
again.
Human being.
Do this.
This is what we call a tease.
And,
now?
and this.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? You're on right now. Welcome on,
Hey.
everybody. This is our good guy here. Jarrett, if you can hear us because you're on Facebook somewhere, stay on, but don't look at the screen. And I'm going to work this thing until I figure it out. Or we'll just get rid of your guest.
Did I just keep talking like this?
Yes, just keep talking like that. It's a good
Okay.
look for you, my man. It's a good look for you. Let me see. Oh, my goodness.
Did you lose Jared?
I might have lost Jarrett.
Well, it's definitely more important to have him than me.
Yeah. We're gonna. Oh. What is this? Is that it? This might be it, my friends. Go. Oh, we're calling him. Jarrett, if you're on, you can just hang up and then pick up this call. I promise you it'll work, my friends. I promise. I've done this before. One whole time. There it is. There he is. All right. I see you now, buddy. Let's see if I can get both of you on here.
I don't see you at all.
Okay. Jarrett, so
Sure.
while we are talking, you can hear though, right?
Yes.
Okay. I can assure you this individual's on, so keep your mask on. My friend, you can start talking now and give some hints.
Hello, friend. Hello, friend.
Hey, what's going on?
I have. I'd like to tell you something.
Okay.
It's a question I'd like to ask you.
All right.
How's your caparosity saga show?
And I knew when Icky said it's going to be somebody for your past first name that came to my mind was Donovan.
Oh, come
What
on.
is up, my guy?
Man.
Sure.
Yes,
What's up,
you're
brother?
right. It is
Dude,
Donovan
I don't know if you can
Childs.
see me or not, but I can see you.
Yeah, straight from the streets. I see you.
That's right, man.
Good?
I'm good, bro. I was
Ladies and
really
gentlemen.
excited. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to type in, but I was like, oh, I better wait because I'm not supposed to be here.
I want to introduce you guys to Donovan Childs. Donnie is a pastor in Southern California for the University Church. He's also a curator of content on social media. Check out his stuff on Instagram, Don D's. My guy is super on a bunch of things. He and I do a piece on Thursday evenings as well on Instagram Live. Go over to Don D's and check him out.
Maybe Jared can look at our stuff and tell us how to produce it.
Nah,
better.
don't do it, man. Jared, you're going to be like, give us a long list of stuff, man.
Hey, I got a Jared story.
Okay, tell us a Jared story. We
So-
need a Jared story.
Dude, so Jared, he's humble, man. He's never gonna flex. But let me tell you how I knew this guy was big ballin'. And I'm gonna date myself a little bit here, but it's good. So I'm watching NBC,
Right.
and I'm watching the acquisition of Gary Payton
Ooh, Gary Payton, yes.
and Karl Malone. And I'm going through watching the press conference, and they finish up the press conference. And after the press conference, everybody's walking out. And you see all the players and the coaches and everybody in the press. And then all of a sudden, this guy, Jared, is strolling around in the back like what? I was like, Jared, you weren't lying. You really did do the NBC thing. I called him up and texted him. I was like, bro, I just seen you on TV. And, in his nice, peaceful voice, he was like, yeah, that's how I does it sometimes. Just a great time, man.
Jarrett's
Yeah.
always on the sneak, isn't he? Like even people he's affiliated with outside of his workspace may not necessarily know the things he's doing. That's one of the things I love about this guy, man. He's always like real chill about it, you know. Like, and we were kind of texting back and forth. I was like, he's like, well, this picture, dude, it's the only one I got on my phone. I was like, yeah, man, that's cool. He's like, all right, man, I'm sorry, that's all I got. I said, don't worry, man. Your 8 nominees of the Emmy Award is going to speak for you, dog. Don't worry about it.
I was like, dude, are you holding bubbles?
Now, actually, Jarrett, you have an Emmy, right? Can you tell us about the one, like the actual physical one? It's, in fact, there it is. If you are watching, it's right behind his head. It's like a little angel watching over him.
Let's see it.
Tell us about this, son.
So yes, like you said, 8-time nominated, which, you know, people that once you start winning Emmys, you don't need to tell people how many times you were nominated.
Yeah. All right. I've been nominated 50 times.
No? And, you know, and it's never really been about awards or anything for me. I typically don't even, you do have to end up submitting your work for the awards. I usually don't even submit mine. That's just not what it's about for me.
Right.
That one, you know, often we'll maybe submit as a team, and I might have to pull the stuff together that, you know, everybody wants to get nominated, that I worked on. That one, you know, and Donovan and others may know this, it's pricey. You don't just enter the Emmy Awards and give them, you know, your name, and you got to pay a decent amount. And so at a certain point, it's like, okay, I'm not going to submit 5 stories for the Emmys because I don't want to pay $1,500 this year. So that was one.
By the way, Jarrett, that's something we don't know. You said, no, we don't. We don't submit for Emmys. They don't give it away for good dads. You know what I mean?
That was one where I thought, honestly, we hadn't even lived up to the terms of that specific award. Our submission had not fulfilled all of the requirements. So I thought, well, this one's not going to win for sure. I'm not going to waste money on that. Lo and behold, that's the one that ended up winning. And so I did not actually put my name on the entry because I didn't want to pay the money. And it won. And so, you know, the others that were, the one other that was on that entry that ended up winning, since I had done, honestly, like 98% of the work, he said, okay, I'm going to get you your own. We're going to go back and kind of retroactively, you won this Emmy. So that's what that one is.
Yo, that's big, man. That's big. Congratulations on that. What year was that?
I think it's, actually, to be completely honest, and Donovan said, is I'm not really one to flex. Like it's in a box somewhere, and I just put it up because we were doing this 2015. So I saw it today. That's why I know what year it was.
Good.
Dude, but can I say, even from college, I almost said high school, college, Jarrett, we did communication together.
Yeah.
And he was always on point with his stuff, man. I mean, and it was always just chill, low key. He never had to go like overboard. But the teachers, you know, they were always like, "Thank you, Jarrett. Thank you, Jarrett." You know that thank you. That's just like you've done the quintessential work that must needs be done.
Right.
And these other idiots, we're just
have no idea.
We're just gonna grade on a curve so they can live.
They can make it.
Yeah.
Did you ever get one of those thank yous, Donovan? Did you get one of those in class?
Yeah, one time. The time that Jarrett and I worked
like
on
an Emmy, isn't it?
Together.
Oh, when you and Jarrett worked on a project together.
That's when I got it. Yeah. So thank you, Jarrett.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Okay, check this out.
It was always good times with Donovan back then.
I want you guys to think about this question both of you answered, and then we're going to go into something I call love one, leave one, all right? Love one, leave one. I'm going to put a 1.5-minute timer up on the screen, and then we're just going to shoot through it. Love one, leave one. You got to choose which one you love and which one you leave, all right? But before we do that quick little game, by the way, if you're watching, we're with Jarrett Kiemeney, executive producer of KNBC, and we are with Donovan Childs, social media curator and lover of Jesus. So we're gonna be doing a few questions and spend a little more time together. Before we do, what both of you, I'm going to start with Jarrett and then Donovan, I want you to think about this as well. What would you share with your younger self who was trying to get to where you are now? And I want you to consider all of our young adults, young professionals, young artists who are hustling right now. Like they really want to get there. What's something you would have told yourself when you started, maybe 10 years ago?
Maybe to just stick to stick to your values. What's important to you. And I would say that to anyone, whether just getting started or looking for a career change or whatever the case may be. What's important to you? What's your priority? And work from there.
Yeah, true.
And, I mean, you said Donovan, lover of Jesus. I mean, that's, I assume, the main reason that I end up here talking with you. I mean, what I do is cool, but if I'm just some dude that does that and the Jesus aspect is not a part of my life, I don't know if I'm talking to you. So, I mean, that's really kind of the most important thing for me too. And I based my decisions on that.
Boom. Flex.
I completely agree with that, man. It's like, so one of my favorite Bible characters is David. And what I loved is that he always went for it. He always went for what he thought was his goal, what God was calling him to do. And I think he could go with such force and such power, even into these big fields. Like Jarrett's going into NBC, man, like NBC. Everybody knows what NBC is. That can be intimidating to people, but he did that. And I think that as we're, like you say, those of us that are hustling and grinding and trying to get into these industries, we can go big and we can go bold because we feel like we've got that backing. We've got Christ, who is the force behind everything we're doing. It's not just about getting clout or just kind of getting in the upper echelon of things. It's we have a purpose and we're going for it. And therefore, when it takes a long time, like Jarrett said, he had to sidetrack, or he had to kind of find a little bit of a different avenue. It wasn't something that, some people will get discouraged and get derailed, and then they go, just work some regular average job that has nothing to do with what they feel they're called to do.
Right.
But because he had the commitment and that assurance, it's almost just like being connected to God gives you this assurance, and having the assurance just lets you, purpose just kind of helps you to go, for whatever your dreams are, whatever your goals are. Even if you've got people that are trying to tell you, that's not a good goal, or if you have some situations that people want to point to and say, that's the door shutting, you need to go another route. It's you and God, and that's the force that propels you through, all of those things. And Jarrett, man, is a good example of that. It's an encouraging vision.
Come get some.
Those things he's got in the back right there.
Hey man, that's so good. I'm gonna just piggyback on that. But before I do, I wanted to point out. So basically, what you're saying is pretty much what Jarrett said. And is that what you did in the project to get that thank you? Really, what he said.
Donovan knows what he's doing.
Right.
He's always knowing what he's doing.
But
I just followed Jarrett, and I knew to make Jarrett my partner.
This really applies to all of life, though. And if you're watching along and you're thinking about what you're going to do with yourself, this doesn't just apply to big name products or a big name position or some network. This really applies to everything you do in life. To believe in Jesus, to believe in God, to have that kind of faith means to be a courageous individual who doesn't allow our fears to hold us back, but we really step out and do stuff. You don't have to do it on the scale of an executive producer. You don't have to do it on the scale of an amazing musician or artist or whatever you are. You can do it in any particular space that you're in. Whether you're a teacher, man, I know how important teachers are, people, because my children are at home 24 hours a day. Lord, Jesus help me, somebody. Whether you're a teacher or a janitor or a gardener, whether you're a community organizer, whatever you're doing, like, your role is important. And if you're doing courageous things, stay to it, like stay the task. I come from ministry, so I got a pastor's background. And when I had opportunities to move to other churches that may seem larger or great, I really loved what my church was doing. I'm really proud of them and the way that they loved the community and the way that they were partnering with Gardena and the residents and the organization. And for me, that was more meaningful than moving to something that may look on the outside like greener grass, and sticking to that. I'm gonna have to say that even to this point today in my life, that was the best part of my life. Like, I look to that and say, this is why I would do ministry, because I see how we can make a difference in the lives of residents and the hungry and the naked and the imprisoned. Like, these are powerful things. So stick to your task, my friends. You don't have to be an executive producer or a social media content maker or a great pastor of any sort. You just do what God's calling you to do and be courageous about it. Okay, let's move on. Enough preaching, everybody. Enough preaching. All right. Okay, so let's do this. I think actually a minute and a half is too long, so I'm gonna bring it down to, let's do 45 seconds, because I believe in you guys. All right. Let's do this in 45 seconds. I'm going to put 45 seconds on the clock. Boom. Okay. And when I say go, we'll start the timer, and then I'll ask the questions. There's only a couple of them. Where's Donovan at? Donovan, did you leave us?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. All right, Donovan. Let's add you into the mix. Boom. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
45 seconds started. Love one, leave one. Apple, Samsung.
Apple.
I mean, they're both out for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick a lesser of two evils, I guess, at a certain point.
Right. Which one would you choose?
Apple.
Okay. Shaquille O'Neal or David Robinson?
Oh.
Keep Shaq. Love Shaq.
19
Keep
seconds.
Shaq.
Come
Keep
on.
Shaq.
All right. LeBron or KD?
Katie.
Love LeBron. Always have before he was here.
Suits or shorts?
Shorts.
It's funny. I go the other way. Suits.
All right. Hands or feet?
Feet.
Keep your hands or keep your feet? The other's gotta go.
No, I need my hands, man. I need my hands.
Yeah, we got to keep hands, but somebody got to be the hands, somebody got to be the feet. We're
That's
all in.
Oh, preaching.
All right,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. That's the word. I know we ran out of time. I'll give you a couple more real quick. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Yeah, I second that.
Taco Bell, Del Taco.
Del Taco.
I'm the other way. Taco Bell.
All right, people, our time is up. That was it. We sucked it because we used overtime on that, but yeah. Here we are again, and we're with Jarrett Kiemeney, executive producer for KNBC Sports, and Donovan Childs, my guy. We're gonna ask just a couple more questions, and we're gonna
I like
end
how
this
you
out.
said that, bro. It's like
And Donovan Childs,
Donovan Childs,
my
guy.
friend. Get to my social media. You know how good he is. Actually, we're running really short on time. We're gonna take another 4 minutes. Is that okay with you, Jarrett?
Whatever you need, man.
Okay, cool. And we're just going to ask a couple more questions. We'll move through. And if you're watching with us, welcome on to Tea Time, Tuesday Tea Time. Here we go. It's been a challenge to keep the faith. We've kind of touched on that already. But let me ask, what are some cool spiritual hacks that you've used to keep yourself balanced with your life, with your job? Some of our young adults might be out there. Some of our young people, or just people, who are like, man, I need a spiritual hack that'll help me through life. Maybe what's one that you've used, Jared? Do you have a little secret sauce? And Donovan, if you got a little secret sauce that you're like, this is what I pull into to keep me balanced?
Just literally just using a Bible app. It gets me a quick little study in the middle of the day. I'm at work and I'm not getting any of that, but get to that for, pull aside 10, 15 minutes, spend there.
Nice.
Ooh.
Don Dees, you got one for us?
Yeah, I think I like to just I like to do these little exercises about where do I see God. So wherever I am, like what kind of goodness can I see and label as God's goodness.
That's good. That's solid. That's real talk. Jay, your wife is a nurse, much like mine. Mine works at the White Memorial and obviously works a lot with confirmed cases that have been coming in. not as much as others, but quite a few. And so it's caused some anxiety and some tension in our home just for safety. How has your wife been? One, thank you for her great work. How has she been through this time, and how has it affected your home?
Yeah, and thanks to your wife. And since we're in the same boat on that, you know how it is. My wife works at a children's hospital in Los Angeles, and so she's in a unit where they don't encounter it often, but they have had cases of it. And so, it creates a little anxiety here. But I trust that she does what she has to do and gets clean and sanitized and leaves anything from work at work.
Nice. Does she, do you
and
guys
thanks
have
to your
to
wife too, and hopefully you guys are good.
Yeah, man, my wife she has a real strict ritual. They're pretty covered at work. Though her unit is not the COVID unit, it's quite full with patients. So, man, blessings to her and her whole team and all of our nurses and our healthcare workers out there. You guys rock, man. We just take a second to give you some love. Let's give them some love, man. That's our peoples, man. You guys putting in time. But yeah, she's got a real strict ritual where she showers and changes all at work. Does that whole thing, comes home, and usually, at least on the first night, she'll kind of be isolated to make sure things are well. So, yeah, it's people don't realize just how much sacrifice these healthcare workers are going through. I think of that one young lady from New York, that doctor who took her own life this week. Just could not handle the tension and the pain of seeing so many lives being taken away. So, yeah, love to all of you healthcare workers, man, and our frontline workers. God bless you guys. Thanks for what you do. Okay, finally, can you guys just share a few words of hope to our peoples out there who's watching along? Maybe they're going through this crisis right now, or maybe they're just trying to hustle and get like the next gig and try to get some feet underneath them, try to get secure. Just can you just share a few words? Donnie, I'll start with you, and then Jay, if you could close us out with that. And then we're done with our tea time today. Oh, Donovan, what are you drinking, bro?
Bro, I got me some watermelon Arizona fruit juice cocktail.
Woo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But anyway, to answer your question, I guess the thing that I would say is, like for me, looking at folks like Jarrett and how he goes forward, that's one piece of encouragement that's proof that God will take you where you want to go. The second thing I would say is whatever we're doing, let's just face it with confidence and with joy, because we never face any of this stuff alone. We always face it with God. My favorite verse says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed." So as long as we're putting it to God first, let's just go full force and just like be open to like the ways that, God doesn't want worse for you than you want for yourself. It's
right.
Always going to be better than what you could imagine. So just take God and go forward, man.
And yeah, I certainly agree with that. And I'd say just, kind of keep your eyes focused on him. No matter what's going on, what you may be striving for, what you may not be able to strive for in a situation like this, what you may not be able to do much of anything. If you kind of keep your eyes on him, God will get you through this, and you will get through this with God. Just know where you need to go. If you're looking at that destination down the road, you'll get there, and that destination always needs to be him. And if you're with him, you're going to be where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Words of wisdom from two very wise gentlemen. I want to send all my love to all of you guys. Thanks for joining with us and joining along. I'm sorry I couldn't see your awesome comments. Please keep leaving some. Share this if you enjoyed it with someone else. And as you leave comments, Jarrett, if you would just go through the comments later, maybe just help answer them out. Donnie, you too. I saw a few just as you were talking, some friends from the past. who have been watching along. If you've been watching along and loving these Tuesday teas, I want to invite you to jump over to our One House page, please, and like it, because we're going to be migrating this over there so that I can open up my personal page again to be personal. We're going to keep doing. It's showing over this. We're going to keep doing both of these for a couple more weeks, but eventually we're just going to be at the One House page. I also want to invite you to go over to Instagram and follow us at ONEHousesocal so that you can get notifications. You'll be able to watch our midweek Wednesday worships, spiritual punch, and all the other cool things that we're doing here in Southern California. You can look forward to some really cool people coming up. We've got a young adult lawyer who became a linguist teacher, Dr. Eva Michelle Wheeler. We're going to be talking with Zach Hoover here in the future, who is the director for LA Voice. We've got quite a few people lined up. We've got the senior treasurer of the Southern California Conference, Orville Ortiz, and we're just going to have a blast doing these. And I just want to invite you, keep joining in. Let's keep having conversation, and let's keep engaging, because even though we're apart, we're still together. God bless you all. Happy Tuesday. Thank you, Jarrett and Donovan. You guys rock.
Yes, Jarrett, man, good to see you, bro. Be blessed.
You too, Johnny. Thank you guys for doing all the content you're putting out there right now. We're flooded with stuff, and to have good, positive, purposeful content right now is great. So thank you.
All right, my peoples. God bless you.